You're watching the free version of Silhouette Essentials. For projects and footage, head to borisfx.com for the premium download.
So then when you start moving into this area where all this different color change, you have to change your technique a little bit. So for this frame here, if I use the next frame, let's see what that looks like. And again, I might have to have multiple offsets because her head is rotating. I probably could use the rotate tool a little bit here. So let's do that. I'll turn on the interactive, set my pivot right here with the period key, and then just rotate slightly. Okay, turn off the interactive. And then if I start painting, let's see what the color looks like. Let's make 100% opacity. The color's not too far off. So to paint out this frame, I need to find a clean source. I don't really have one. I can go maybe as far as here or here. Let's see what this looks like. I'm going to just make that one more frame. So it's a little bit of a different color. It's kind of darker and not as pink. So what you can do is you can use the grade filter and click on this tab here. And then you can use the split screen here. You click on the vertical split and then shift pipe. And now you have a split screen with your source, and I can change the color of my source to match her cheeks. So I'm probably going to make it a little less gray, add in a little more pink. See if I can do that here. I'm going to ungang that and use the Control Command key and add a little more red. It's very subtle. And then we'll try that. So then I'm going to disable the overlay. And you can see when you have a change here in the grade filter, you have the green dot. So if I click caps lock again, and then I'm going to paint, then the color is a little bit closer. And so that's a good technique to use when you have slight color changes. And then just make sure that you reset it when you're going back to do other operations. So I might paint a couple frames forward. So once I get a clean source a couple frames forward, I can use that going backwards. So then at some point we'll have to fix this because the color's not right here, and you have this little remnant of the rig there. So it's a little bit patchwork, and it is this way until you're done. and so on. So this probably took me about half a day to paint all of this out. And I can't take you through that whole process during the class, but that's generally what I did. And I'll take you over to my final. I'm going to close this window here. And here is the source. And here is the rig removal paint. You see it's all removed out of her face, her neck, the hair, and the background. We'll just zoom out a little bit. And I can turn on the strokes. You can see how many paint strokes there are. You can see in the window here, there's just hundreds, if not thousands of paint strokes. And Silhouette won't slow down if you have that many strokes. It's a raster hybrid paint system, and it's a great way to get a lot of paint done fast. So if we click on the strokes tool, you can see how many strokes I have. It's a lot. But that is the nature of hand paint. So now that the hand paint is done, you see down here that I've rendered it out. I've added an alpha threshold node. And we'll go down to the output here. And you can see that I rendered out to hand paint pre-comp. And so we'll bring that into our comp. So I'm going to go back to the clean paint comp session here, and we'll move over to my final setup. I have to zoom out a little bit. Okay, so this has the larger screen right matte and the hand painted plate. So here is our clean plate here. And then here's the painted sequence with the rig removed from the face and the outside of the character. So I've just replaced the source footage with this paint. So now if I take you through, it's the same with the transform node and my tracking data. Let's just unclick this matte here. And we get down to the composite. We have our clean plate matte, just show you that real quick with the alpha. And now the rig is completely removed. I did have to add a little blurring, defocusing, and a little directional blur to match the blur at the end. But I think it turned out really nice. So we'll just reset the viewer to the original color. And we can do a little comparing. And there you have it. And then at the end, I realized I have to composite the alphas from my hand paint and the matte, and I can do that here with the alpha composite. If I'm in the paint node here and I click A, I have the matte alpha, but I don't have the hand paint alpha. So I can add that in. I have my painted source here, and then I have an alpha composite. So I've combined those. And we'll just show that right here. Go to a frame where you can see that. And then the alpha threshold node will make everything 100% opacity for the pixels that had some opacity in them. So now it's 100%. And then we have our output here. And this is the final, but I will just click on the sequence that I've already rendered out so we don't have to see a composite through. And this is the final. I'm ready for one more QC pass because I think I see some edge of frame on the screen right side. So it's always good just to take another look and see if there's anything that you missed. So here I had some paint I had already done for this section, but it looks like I missed a little bit. So these final little steps will make all the difference because you don't want your shot to come back to you. I'm going to just go in here and do this very quickly. Okay, it looks like I got all of it, and I'll just re-render this out and we'll be ready for the regraining step. So here we are in the regrain session and my paint is updated with the fix. So here in the regrain node, I've hooked up the plates as they need to be. I have my original, my denoised, and my denoised paint. Then I also have the alpha of where my paint was, and that is hooked into the input here. So now I'm only going to regrain where my mat was. So I've already regrained, and I'll take you through the steps here. So I've clicked Analyze and Analyze the footage. This is the source here where it's analyzing. And then since I am using the mat input enabled here, it has scatter checked. So I'm going to just zoom in here and let's take a look. I'm going to go to the blue channel, Alt B. I'm going to brighten the viewer a bit. And I just want to uncheck scatter and show you what it looks like. So if scatter is not checked in this case, you can see part of the rig going through the shot. So if you see that, then you need to check scatter. And now the grain is scattered and it looks much better, scattered within the mat. So then also let's check another thing. I'm going to go to the original here and just make a snapshot. And then we'll go to the regrain and do some comparing. So another change I had to make was I had to just change the grain strength a little bit to match. If this was at the default, which was just 100, I'll zoom in a little bit. It just felt a little bit light. So I just changed it to 103. And I felt like this looked a lot better. So just upping these amounts a little bit sort of solved the problem. And then we'll just unclick the split screen and go back to our GBA and play it through. And I think it looks good. We'll do one more snapshot, the original and the regrain. And I think it worked out well. So then we'll just disable that again, reset the viewer. And this is our final. So I hope you have enjoyed this class on rig removal. We covered a lot, including tracking options, the Mocha Pro plugin, point tracking, source match move, hand painting, paint presets, creating oversized clean plates, combining manual and procedural techniques, QC, alpha management, and regraining. Thank you for joining me today and see you in the next class.